Hey, my name is Gaia Athena, and in this video I'm bringing you part 4 of my 2020 reading statistics. We get to the book format. In 2020, the format that I read from the most was paperback, and this makes sense because in 2020 I mostly read my own books, and paperback is my favorite format, so out of all the books I own, paperback is the most common format. But as you can see, for example, 2015, 2016, I read a lot more hardbacks. And hardbacks, what I call hardbacks is basically a book with a hardcover, but without a dust jacket. Because I prefer to make a distinction between a hardcover, so a book with a dust jacket, and a hardback that doesn't have a dust jacket. I know in English they both mean the same thing, but for myself I like to distinguish it because I hate dust jackets. Okay, a lot of Dutch library books are hardbacks, no dust jacket. They are kind of sort of plastified. You might have seen that if you've seen me in previous videos holding up a library book. So that explains why I had a lot of that format in 2015, 2016, and also 17, 18, 19. But not much in 2020 because, well, I do own some of those, and most of them are from library sales. I own more paperbacks. So, yeah. And then we have a couple of other categories. So, Kindle, author's website, and computer. Computer, that was mostly in 2015 when I bought this Humble bundle that had comics in it. And they were Wheel of Time comics, and they were in color. So, I could transfer them to my Kindle, but my Kindle is in grayscale. So I read those on the computer, so that's why that's called computer, because I read 37 Wheel of Time comics, I believe. But yeah, that's not a category that happens often. So now we get to book type, and I will explain what I mean by that. So first off, we have textbook. These are books that are mostly in prose, so just text and not many pictures or illustrations. Then we have books in verse, and I've only started to read those in the past 2 years. We have illustrated books. I read quite a lot of those in earlier years. Most of those are children's books that I borrowed from the library in, let's say, 2015, 2016. Then we have manga, and I have also been reading quite a bit of manga. Then we have comic, and then graphic novels and graphic memoirs, and then picture book. So yeah, in 2013 I mostly read textbooks and not much else. I call them textbooks. Maybe I should call them prose. I don't know. But yeah, but there's throughout the years become a bit more of a variety in that. I've really been liking graphic novels and graphic memoirs and manga for the past 4 years. And before that I read a lot of illustrated stuff. Yeah. Then we get to publication years. This is just for 2020. I am realizing just now that that's not actually on the graph. But this is specifically for books read in 2020. Because while I am going to show you like a bar graph soon, I thought it would also be nice to just see the 2020 data. Because it might make it a bit clearer. So on the x-axis we have years, and on the y-axis we have the amount of books read. I realize it doesn't say that anywhere either. I apologize. So the blue column is the publication years, and then the red is the original publication years, which is either the same as the publication year, but often also earlier, because I often tend to buy the paperback after the hardcover has already been out for a while. Or I read a book and that was originally published earlier, but then I'm reading a newer edition, that sort of thing. And well, as the graph makes clear, most of my reading is from the past 10 years. That's why I've spread that out a bit. And I don't read that many older books. And then there was a couple of books that I wasn't sure what their publication years were, so that's unknown/various. Anyway, I just wanted to show this graph so that when I show you the publication years of all the past few years, you kind of get a bit better what you're looking at. So this is publication years for the past few years, since 2013. So this is the publication years of the edition that I read, and not the original. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, of course, the first thing that I notice is that obviously, for example, in 2020, I read 38 books that were published in 2020, which is in kind of this pinkish color, or salmon, peach. Well, but obviously this color is not in any of the earlier years, because how could I read a book in 2013 that was published in 2020? That is not a thing. So you can kind of see this kind of diagonal phasing. Well, as we go further in years, we get a new color popping up, if that makes sense. So in 2013, about 55% of the books I read were published in 2010, 2011, 2012, or 2013. And the other 45% was published before 2010. We can also see that as we go throughout the years, the percentage that I'm reading of books published in the 1990s is not been that much the past few years. Because I'm reading more, of course, newer books, so then I guess you have to read less older books if you're doing it in a percentage-wise. Now we get to the graph of the original publication years. And just like with the other graph, we also have some sort of diagonal effect. I have no data from 2013-2014 because I did not write down the original publication year. It looks a bit similar as the previous graph, but original publication years are sometimes a bit earlier. Again, most of my reading from 2020 was from books published in the last decade. Although I did read, let's say, just under 20% of books published before 2010. But that percentage was definitely higher in, well, let's say 2015. 50% of the books I read were published before 2010. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in part 5. Bye!